which is also very beautiful, but there is a problem. And I feel the problem for me is that I don't really know what to play sometimes on a 2-5-1, or at least I didn't really know. Now I feel like I do know. But when I was in high school and just trying to figure out music and guitar and context of jazz as well, improvisation, I didn't really know what to do when I had a minor 2-5. How do you feel about it?
I had my collection of licks, and then I would just pick one.
Right, totally. I had that too. I mean, yeah, you had like, okay, minor 2-5, let's hit it. And I think that's not cool. So what I want to do today is go over 8 levels of how to deal with a minor 2-5, and they're quite simple. So actually, it's not a complicated video. There's a lot of information here. So I definitely suggest you guys to check out and kind of like wait for the last couple of points, so stick around. We'll also talk about the framework as well. So we'll show you the information, but also the fingerings for some scales and some positions so you can really work it out. So if you have any kind of questions about how to deal with this kind of 2-5-1 progression, there are quite a few important points here. So let's do it. 1. We are living right now in the key of D minor. Exactly. And we have the chord E half diminished, which would be the 2nd degree. Right? And then the question that I'm asking is, what do you play? And a lot of people have weird answers. So the first answer is very straightforward. What's the answer?
D minor.
What kind of D minor?
D natural minor.
See, that's why it's here. He just knows it all. So, yes, D natural minor. So it's very simple. Check it out. I'm gonna play the chord and you just play the scale and see how well it works. Yeah, that's a very clear solution for this chord. Now, we want to talk about the progression though. Let's play this progression 2-5-1, right?
Okay.
E minor 7 flat 5, E half diminished, A7 to D minor. And I would like you to actually play a solo using this scale, but I want you to only use these notes. So only D natural minor. We're not going to play any augmented, any Lydian, mixolydian. We're not going to play any altered, none. No nonsense. All right, so 3, 4. If you like this content and like to support, maybe the best way would be checking out the Patreon. There's PDF for all this information and actually a lot of stuff there, so that would be really appreciated. Thank you. So we both play simple ideas using the framework of D natural minor. What is D natural minor? This. So listen to this center for a second. So when we're talking about natural minor, we're basically talking about 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, and flat 7. So it is important to understand what we're dealing with, and in the context of a 2-5-1 in any key, right now I'm talking about D minor, you can totally totes play this natural minor. It's gonna sound good. Now, this is level 1. Let's go to level 2 and see what we're missing. Level 2. What are we missing? So, what do you think? Okay, so natural minor sounds cool, but
there are other chords.
Okay, so
That A7.
Exactly. So when we're playing this natural minor over the 2-5-1, it's all good, it works, but we're not really describing the A7 in a attentive way. And I think music is all about attention. So we want to pay attention, right? This is the beautiful thing with music, that we listen and interact with each other and with the sound. So when the A7 hits, what do you think?
We gotta hit that third.
How do you get that third?
By changing our scale.
Okay, so what would you do? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I would go for as well. And I think you're just playing right now D harmonic minor, and that means that it's basically that was in Jewish. It's basically D natural minor, but just raising that 7, that C natural to C sharp, right? So re mi fa sol la si do that sound, a lot of tension. Listen to it one more time. Re mi fa sol la si mol do. And again, it's really important to listen to it, to tag the information, right? So I'm saying solfege, you can do anything you want, but the point is like feel that pain and that relationship to the center, so you can really feel the scale. And indeed, by playing that scale, we're getting this C sharp, which highlights the A major, the A7. So how would you play something?
Okay.
3, 4. When the A7 was hitting, I immediately expressed that transition, paid attention, if you will, to the A major, to the A7 by playing that C sharp, and still I can still grab the B flat there from, you know, the scale, which of course gives us that sound of flat 9, which is just beautiful and really highlights the minority of the A7. It just leads us to this minor tonality, right? This is how it sounds. Cool. But what about the D minor?
Oh.
I like it. It's a strong pause. Okay. Well,
I got it. Yeah. We want a firmer resolution, so that's 6.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like one of the things that identify a harmonic center in minor is utilizing the melodic minor. So basically adding the 6 or the major 7 would be really good calls. And indeed, if I'm taking again this D minor center and I'm adjusting the notes a little bit, I get B natural and C sharp here. And that's called melodic minor. The point is that it sounds very much kind of home-based, tonic, if you will, versus the other colors and keys, centers that we're dealing with, like the harmonic or the natural minor, which sound beautiful, but just like it's not as homey. So if we want to articulate D minor as a home, as a center, we should definitely consider this, checking out the melodic minor. So now we'll do this thing. We'll play the 2-5-1, this option here, and we'll play the natural minor on the E half, basically natural, just D natural minor. On the A7, we'll adjust one note, we'll adjust that C sharp, and by that we'll get the harmonic minor, and then we'll actually go further and resolve it to the melodic minor.
Sounds good.
You try. All right, I'm very happy you're still here. Thank you for that. I think the last 2 points of this video are also extremely important, because first we're gonna kind of utilize quite a few of the elements that we talked about, and also we're going to show you the framework for the diminished scale, which I find super helpful and super informing, especially in the context of these minor keys. Right, so by just like adjusting one or two notes, we can be much more attentive, much more connected to the progression. And I think it's really worth our time investigating and kind of fine-tuning that relationship in a minor key. I know for a lot of us it feels harder and more information, but at the end of the day, we're just talking about D minor. A little natural, maybe a little harmonic, maybe a little melodic, but it's really centered in D minor. And because we play, I guess, about 80 or 85% major 2/5, so naturally we're not as comfortable in minor, but it doesn't mean that we need to kind of just let them be. I think it's a really good span of time, and it's also like anything else, while working with that, while seeing, while checking out, we learn a lot about colors. All right, so sounds good, but our mission has not, it's not finished yet. Can you say that? Is that
yeah, mission's not finished.
It's weird a little bit, yeah. A little weird.
Mission's not completed.
Mission is not finished. All right. What I want to talk about right now is we're going to add a little bit more tension. And I think it's an important point. So it's cool, but we also don't want to be too vanilla. So one of the ways is to just add some tension on the dominance. So on the A7, we're going to try and add the diminished scale. Check this out. Got it?
Yeah.
3. Right, so what he did and what I did exactly the same, we took the A7 and we played this diminished scale. Now, what happens there is just so we're basically stacking more tension. So music is all about tension and release. So we're starting in this place that's like a little more descriptive to the chord in a relaxed and calm way, articulating E half diminished with the scale that kind of fits it. Again, the D natural minor, if you will, and then going to the A7 and kind of stacking more tension. Play the scale one more time, just so we hear it. Right, even just by playing that scale, it sounds like so much intention. So just by using the scale, we get these beautiful colors that really kind of target us into the resolution, which is really beautiful. Please stick around for the end of the video where we're going to show you 5 positions for a diminished scale. So right now we're going to talk about another cool level. All right, ready? 5. Here we're going to meet a 2/5. So I'm gonna play something and yeah, I'll go show you the 2/5 and then we'll talk about what's happening here.
Okay.
Alright, so check it out. So what I did right now, I just played a 2/5-1, but what's really important about I think the ideas of 2/5-1 is making sure that the stitch between E half diminished and A7 or whatever 2 chords you're working with is very clear. A lot of times it will be the 7th leading to the 3rd, and that's a very, very kind of cliche in a positive way in the jazz world. So I played, if I remember correctly, so I did this kind of thing where I'm surrounding that C sharp, delaying the resolution quite a bit before I'm hitting that C sharp, and then I ascended with the diminished scale, the A7 diminished scale half whole, into the melodic minor. So check it out, see if we can grab it. So exactly, on the melodic minor. So the reason it's important to learn these lines and licks, again, this is my line, but it's not really my line. It's like saying like hello is your word. It's a part of the language. It's not a word. Damn. Failed again. So the kind of idea of learning lines and ideas from different people is just like solidifying that concept of like how we're going between the chords and what are we utilizing. And he can also change it, right? So what happens instead of my idea of like ascending with this diminished thing, do something else, okay? Start with the same fragment, that idea of, which is basically, again, starting from that flat 5 of the chord of the E half, surrounding that E natural with a little chromatic note, and then do your own thing.
Okay.
What'd you do there?
That augmented. Which one though? That's the important part. Yeah.
Just the A, right?
Yeah.
So what he did, right? He kind of mixed colors. So the same way that I pull up that color, said, okay, let's check out the diminished. He was saying like, what about augmented? Which is a beautiful color. So we started with this again thought process of like, okay, we have this D natural minor that we're hearing and just articulating something maybe a little bit more chromatic, and then on the A7 he was like, what about this, that sound color, and then resolve it into the D minor.
Cheers.
He got stronger. Also colder. Alright, so here what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the diminished scale and we're gonna do two interesting permutation. Well, I think they're interesting. And basically, again, like anything else, like you can play the scale up and it's great, but also there are a lot of hidden gems in that. If we listen to Coltrane or Bill Evans or all these masters, they did a lot of really, really interesting things. So one interesting concept is you can take the diminished, literally the diminished 7 from, I'm starting from B flat, but again, I'm thinking about A7, but I'm playing that shape here because I'm basically getting A7 flat 9. And then from each one of the notes, I'm gonna play an interval. So how about we try just major seconds?
Okay.
Let's do ascending.
Okay.
From here. So it will sound like this, just really slow. I can resolve it. Woo. Permutation 2. So instead of ascending, like we did here, we'll descend in a different order with the interval. So
Word.
try it. Slow it together.
Yeah.
3. Oh, and there's a PDF for all this stuff up there.
Good to know.
3, 4. Let's hear it with the chords. You play it, I'll play the chords. 3, 4. Right, so on the D minor it was too long, so definitely it's kind of cool a little bit on the D minor if you resolve it, but you can of course break it and use just parts of it. Yeah, but it's really, really cool ideas and patterns. And I'm not going to expend too much the conversation about these patterns, but you can also take a different interval. For example, you get all these cool sounds. All right, so first I'm going to comp the 2-5-1, and I want you to try and utilize these couple concepts. So, moving like we talked between the natural minor to the harmonic and melodic minor, but also throwing the the diminished, maybe a little bit of augmented.
Okay.
We're gonna just go over 5 positions really quickly for the A diminished scale, A half whole. All right, so first one will be here. I kind of see it in like both directions, so I'll go kind of back from A, if you will. Check that out.
How do you do that? Okay.
Right with the F sharp. Exactly. The second one will be here, starting from the A as well. Kind of staying in this position, this area. Maybe most people know this one, I feel. Beautiful. And then I'll grab another A. It's kind of like playing C major scale, but just with diminished. So I'll grab this A here, and I'll go back a little bit. So. And then forward, or kind of staying in place. With the first finger. Nice, man. And then the last one is from here, from this A, and this is kind of like thinking about like these centers, so basically. And then playing from the A.
Can't do that fast.
Up, there. Just think about like the.
That's right.
Almost, yeah. There was one.
Was
up.
open. I see.
Exactly. And so these 5 positions are definitely helpful to kind of see it in different areas around the guitar. What I would do is, of course, practice it slow in time, sing it, and try to make something with it, right? Again, like taking the framework, working with it, but then making some music with it. Thank you so much for listening. It's really fun. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
As always.
It's fun.
Super pleasure. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys very soon. Have a good one.
Take care.